Welcome to the Trendy Toonie, where we talk all things money. We're on a mission to make finance fashionable and to be up to date on all the latest trends. Financial trends, that is. Today we're looking at 3 inspirational stories of those who became financially free and gained the ability of retiring decades early in their 30s and 40s. Now, if retiring early sounds like some unrealistic scam in a galaxy far, far away that's unachievable for mere mortals like us, guess what? It actually doesn't have to be as difficult as you think. If you haven't already heard of the FIRE movement, definitely check out my last video for an overview of what it is and some of the common misconceptions around it. The Coles notes is that FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. It basically means you have enough money invested that working becomes optional. Some say that to FIRE you have to go through extreme measures, whether it's extreme couponing or living on rice and beans and rice. Yes, definitely some people can be extremely frugal, but not everyone has to be. For me personally, I believe in balance. I want to focus on reaching my investment goals, but not compromise on spending on travel, which is really important for me, and my delicious homemade avocado toasts. The ideas behind financial independence and retiring early are easy to understand in principle, but they can be difficult to implement in real life. So today we'll share 3 FIRE stories of different people or families and how they were able to retire early, and hopefully they'll inspire you to start looking into your own budgets and financial plans and seeing how you can become more financially independent. So let's kick it off with Pete Adney, or Mr. Money Mustache.
About to meet a young man who retired at the age of 30. Not because he made millions, but because he cut back in some radical ways.
So today, if you Google anything on the topic of FIRE, you're likely to end up on his infamous blog, Mr. Money Mustache. Now here in one of his most popular articles on his blog, he goes into the math of how the more you save, the less you actually need to retire. When you're saving upwards of 40, 50, even 60%, you can retire much sooner.
What do you mean retire? Like, you mean you're gonna take a month off until you run out of money? And I was like, nope, we're done. We have enough money for life.
Pete and his wife at the time spent just 9 years accumulating enough to retire. They both worked as software engineers and lived pretty frugally. They averaged a household income of $134,000 over that period, with a goal to spend $24,000 annually in retirement, which meant that their FI number was more on the lean FIRE side of just $600,000. They started in their early 20s and became financially independent by 30. Their motivation was to become financially independent so that they could start a family and just spend more time together. With a paid-off house and $600,000 invested, Pete quit his day job to enjoy semi-retirement and continued to work on his other passion projects. By now, his blog does generate a significant amount of revenue, so at this point, it's unlikely he even needs to withdraw on those investments, and he can actually live off of other passive income sources. Even though his net worth has now grown beyond the initial $600K that he retired with, he still lives by a lot of the minimalist principles, and these are some of the key ones that helped him get to FIRE. Having a high savings rate. Pete's family lived off of a fraction of their income during their accumulation phase. They spent just $30,000 of their approximately $134,000 income. That's just 20%, and they saved everything else. Next was living close to work. He decided to live close to where he worked so he could commute by bike and not have to rely on a car. Not only can commuting be a drain financially, but it's also a huge waste of time. He says that the average person commutes 80 minutes a day. Imagine what you could do with that time back. And lastly is using your body more. Whether it's doing your own yard work, housework, or DIY renos, Pete believes in appreciating what your body can do and utilizing it to get stuff done. And as a bonus, you can stay in shape at the same time and quit that gym membership. And I think he sums it up pretty well.
The secret is just to spend much less than you earn.
Now for the next fire case study, we're going to look at Our Rich Journey, one of my favorite channels to follow on YouTube.
Hey guys, Zaman
and Christina
from Our Rich Journey.
Christina and Aman, who run the channel Our Rich Journey, have spent the past few years documenting their path to fire and now their retirement abroad in Portugal with their family of 4. And they did it on slightly above average civil servant incomes of about $168,000 for the household. But in just 8 short years, they were able to save over $2 million. That allows them now to spend at least $80,000 in retirement. And they were able to do it by having a high savings rate, at some points even over 70%, house hacking, side hustling, everything from Airbnb to Uber, flipping real estate and making amazing profits, not buying expensive cars, and travel hacking. Now, although they have a pretty substantial nest egg to live from, they actually decided to retire abroad where that money can go even further for them. Interestingly though, when they made their fire calculations, they based it off of the most expensive scenario, which in their case was for California. They have a lot of videos that dive into the details about why they actually chose Portugal. But I mean, seriously, who wouldn't love to live there? It looks amazing. They are also a family of 4. They have 2 lovely daughters who are just as financially savvy and smart as they are. They really show that a family can succeed at saving as well. A lot of the money generating activities they did, whether renovating or upcycling and reselling furniture, they actually made it a family affair. Overall, they used the pivotal money-making years in their 30s to save aggressively, but without compromising on quality of life. They got to live abroad, travel a lot, and use unconventional tactics to help maximize savings on their way to their goal of early retirement. Now on to the final case study, we've got the king of YouTube finance, Graham Stephan.
What's up guys, it's Graham here.
So I'm a huge fan of Graham's, and his is actually a great story because unlike the other 2 shown, Graham actually didn't pursue a post-secondary education. He skipped the whole college university thing and went straight into real estate right after high school. He also started real estate at the worst possible time during the crash in 2008. Even so, he was able to become a millionaire by the time he turned 26 and financially independent by 28. And also can't forget to mention that during this time, he became a YouTube superstar. Now, if you're eager to know more, you can't miss out on
Smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
While today he still partly does do real estate, he works for the Oppenheim Group. Maybe you've heard of them. They're the ones from the Selling Sunset Netflix show. He now is primarily a YouTuber who has consistently been churning out videos for the last several years and has grown to have 3 channels, which between them all has garnered him a following of over 3 million. Like seriously, he does 6 videos a week and he's never missed a day. His work ethic is truly #goals. Now looking at him today and seeing how he's got 6 rental properties, lives in a $1 million home, makes almost $200,000 a month off of YouTube, and how he's got over 13 million invested can sound super inspirational, but maybe not so feasible for the rest of us. However, we'll quickly go through some of his philosophies that have helped him reach financial independence that he still practices to this day despite all of his success. So the first is hacking. No, not that kind of hacking, financial hacking. Everything from a house, a car, and travel, Graham is really good at finding the best deals and finding ways to optimize them. It really helps to reduce some of the biggest line items in someone's budget and getting those things down as close as possible to $0. The second is practicing financial minimalism. Now, if Our Rich Journey had a savings rate of 70% and Mr Money Mustache saved over 80%, Graham just wins hands down because he's able to save 99% of his income. He's infamously against buying Starbucks coffee. He doesn't wear flashy clothing or brands, or eat out a lot, or even drink. Minimizing your wants can help you get greater control over your money. And lastly is something pretty smart. Graham only spends from his investment income, which is part of the reason why he's able to save 99%. When you're not touching the principal, you have a lot more room to grow.
And still to this day, I only spend what my investments make me, and that's it. Any other money I make is put back into rental properties, and that way my lifestyle is always 100% covered, regardless of how much money I make from other income sources.
Now, these were just 3 examples of some of the channels or folks I personally find inspirational and follow the most to keep me focused and on track. And I'll leave links to their channels below if you'd like to get to know them a bit better. And each story that we looked at today represents a different type of fire. I talked more about the different fires in my last video. So Mr. Money Mustache, because he was on the lower end of his annual spend at under $40,000, he represents the lean fire side. We've got our rich journey, who are more in that range of like a traditional retirement. And then Graham is just in another stratosphere, and he is living large, but actually in reality frugally, with a more fat fire number. And again, these are just 3 examples. There are so many other resources out there, so find a blueprint that works for you. As always, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Take care and see you in the next one.